This is the STV News. Good evening. Threatened strike action by ScotRail train drivers has been suspended. It's after a new pay offer was made by the rail operator. A reduced timetable remains in place for now. Vanessa Kennedy reports.
The decision by ASLEF to withdraw its ballot for industrial action follows what they say were constructive talks in recent weeks. The union's negotiating team is now recommending staff accept the tabled offer, which is described as acceptable. ScotRail has been operating a reduced service since July, when a number of drivers stopped working extra Sunday shifts and overtime as part of the pay dispute. About 600 services were cut under the provisional measures, and peak time services in the morning and late afternoon were halved from 4 trains to 2. ScotRail was embroiled in a long-running dispute 2 summers ago, which saw overtime bans and full strikes across the network in Scotland. Details of the new pay offer have not been made public, but it's understood all staff would get a 4.5% rise backdated to April. They can now vote, and the ballot will close on the 25th of September. Vanessa Kennedy, STV News.
A 13-year-old girl has been charged in connection with what's been described as a willful fire at a barn in the Highlands. Emergency services were called to the scene at Caplich Quarry near Alness at around 7:30 on Saturday evening. There were no reports of any injuries. A report will be submitted to the children's reporter. A fatal accident inquiry into the death of a schoolboy who fell through a manhole at a building site in Glasgow has heard from bosses of a construction firm who say they have no idea how he gained access. 10-year-old Shay Ryan died in the incident in Drumchapel 4 years ago. His mother, Joanne Ferguson, said it was well known children had been able to get onto the site. The inquiry is expected to last 2 weeks. A billboards campaign has been launched by survivors of abuse at Fernethy House after their claims for redress were rejected by the Scottish Government. Hundreds of women claim they were physically and sexually abused when they were sent to the care home in Angus by Glasgow Council. The billboards call for more survivors to come forward to keep pressure on ministers.
There's actually was 2,400 primary school girls went through this place in a year. For a period of 30 years, so there's thousands of girls out there yet, and we just want, that's why the billboards are up, to try and bring more and more forward.
Now, an urgent review is being called upon for the rollout of mobile network infrastructure across Scotland. A coalition of environmental groups have written to the UK Government. Ministers say it's up to councils to assess planning applications. Oliver Wright has more.
Mobile coverage in rural areas has long been an issue, and the shared rural network aims to fix that problem by putting masts up in more remote areas of the country. But now, organisations, including the RSPB, say those plans haven't considered the impact putting masts up might have on wildlife and the environment. Now, here on the Cairnmount in Aberdeenshire, I have no phone signal, and this is quite a popular route with cyclists. It's quite a busy road, and that coalition of organisations says it has no problem with putting masts up here, but it does have an issue with putting masts up in more remote parts of Scotland, where it says there would be very little need for mobile coverage, but it would have an impact on wildlife and the environment.
The Scottish population is spread in a way that is divided by plenty of glens and mountains, and we're very concerned about masts being put up in places that are very remote, very unpopulated, unspoiled, and ultimately and in many cases have got serious environmental sensitivities.
Well, meanwhile, the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology says it's working hard to bring fast and reliable mobile broadband to people living in rural communities and the emergency services. It says by having masts used by all 4 networks, that will reduce the impact on the environment, and that it's up to local planning departments to have the final say on where masts can be put up. Oliver Wright, STV News.
To football, and Matt O'Reilly has completed his move from Celtic to Brighton, with a deal set to break the Scottish transfer record. The English Premiership side unveiled their new signing earlier. It's understood the deal will reach the region of £30 million. The 23-year-old scored 27 goals in 3 seasons during his time in Glasgow's East End.
Yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. Still a little bit emotional speaking about it, just because I had such good memories there, but yeah, like I said, it just felt like the right time for a new challenge for me. But yeah, I only leave with fond memories.
Time now for a look at the weather forecast with Philip.
A dry start to the day will become increasingly splashy. TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Hello and a very good evening to you. Well, at the moment we've got a deep area of low pressure approaching from the west. That's bringing with it a wet and windy night to come. It's also pushing in this frontal system that trails across the UK and stalls here over the next couple of days, bringing us unsettled and changeable conditions. At the moment there's some late evening sunshine around, particularly across the north and the northeast. Things are going downhill overnight though. We start to see cloud thickening from the south and west as outbreaks of rain spread in, and some of that rain will be quite heavy and persistent. So with the winds, the cloud and the rain, it will be a mild night to come, with temperatures for most places staying in double figures. Looking ahead to tomorrow, a very windy, gusty start to the day across much of the country. A damp start too as that rain continues to push northeastward. So some tricky travel conditions around rush hour tomorrow morning. Once that clears through though, a drier afternoon to come, with temperatures reaching highs of around 20 or 21 degrees Celsius around the likes of Lossiemouth. Then looking ahead to Wednesday, that trailing frontal system has moved to the southeast. Behind it, a mixture of showers and sunny spells and highs of 19. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
And that's all from us for the moment. From everyone on the news team, have a lovely evening. Bye for now.